Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to Shoulder Tap. I am Jack, joined by risk manager Brett in the nice Top Step shirt. How's the day going for you, Brett?
It's going well. Thanks, Jack. Glad to be here and have some good traders to discuss today. How are you doing?
All right. I'm doing fantastic, as a matter of fact. So let's make me feel even better. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on the wrist board today.
Yeah, on the risk board, we've got some live traders to update with Dakota, always a staple that we mention. He, at 10 o'clock, was up 3,400. Now he's up 5,800. Uh, the house account's doing well, up about $3,000, and Nick for a Tick is continuing to add some profits to the board with 2,200, and as well as Felipe up 5,200, and a good amount of green on the board, and really about a 50-50 split as to profitable days and losing days as far as the live funded traders go. But we are seeing a little bit more overall in profits because traders are stopping if they do exceed the loss limits.
All right. So about a normal day there. Well, with that, I know we have three cards today. So if you're ready to start them, we can start hammering these away.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. The first trader that I wanted to highlight is going to be Hangen. And Hangen is in a live funded account, 150K, and really has been primarily focusing on this DAC contract. Hangden's been trading in this account for 31 days. And the thing that stood out to me with the trading in this live funded account is that they just exhibit great discipline recently. They've had a few losing days, but they've really done a good job of kind of tightening up the strings and adding consistent ability in the ballpark of really $200 to $400, and and they've been doing it for a few weeks now. The
Yeah.
one thing, if I were to give a suggestion to Hangden, is there were a couple days that were kind of had some losses and that exceeded a lot of the norm in this live funded account. They were both right around $2,000 in losses. And the following day, they managed to make it up and then some in both instances. And the one thing that as a trader you really have to be careful of is after a losing day, it can be really tough to get all of those losses back, which Hangden has done a great job of doing in this account. And really moving forward, they they have since 2 weeks ago, since that $2,000 loss, they have consistently exhibited profitability in the two to $400 range.
Yeah. I mean, looking at this is a really interesting card. I don't know that. I think he has a third losing day that's like nearly scratched. Like on June 10th, I'm seeing he lost $5. Um, I would love to talk to Hangdown to see exactly what their strategy is, because one thing I notice a huge dispersion in is the number of trades placed in a day, right? Um, their upside P&L is roughly similar, has one or two big days. First off, I commend this individual is definitely trading a lot smaller than they can in a 150K account, right? The biggest losing day I see is 2,000. So we're not using the DLL. Um, but what's really interesting is it's like, I don't know if he has the extra cup of coffee certain days or like a Red Bull or a Celsius or something, because on most days we see a low number of trades, one, two, four, something under five. But then there's a lot of other days where we get into like the 23 trades, 71 trades, uh, 36, 41. So I'd be interested to see with Hang Dang, like this is a good performance overall, but I'm kind of wondering what is it? What's that rocket fuel that gets into you on these days? Because they're not all bad. The 71 trade day was his biggest winning day. It looks like that I can see here, but it's interesting to have that sort of range of trades, Brad. Probably not something we see too often.
Yeah, and actually that best day that you talk about with the 71 trades was after a losing day of, I think it was just shy or just over $2,000, and that was the day after they had those losses, which is an easy thing to do after a rough day. It's easy to overtrade. I'm not saying that's what occurred in this instance, given that they only had a few losing trades on the day, and their maximum drawdown on that day was only to -$200, and so they still exhibited good discipline. They just traded a lot more than they usually do because their typical contracts per trade is 3 lots, and their overall average is just 13 trades a day. But like you said, there are a lot of days in the single digits for the number of trades that they've taken.
I would just maybe, I mean, this is good overall. Keep it up. I would just maybe, with the winners not being as high as usual, you know, take a look at how those fees and commissions are adding up as a percent on these days where, yeah, you make $1,000 or something like that. But if you take, 184 contracts round turn, you're really racking up a good percentage of that in commissions. So maybe just be mindful of how much you're trading in a day and why. Because I'm honestly curious, but good stuff overall. Did take over 4,200 in payouts, which is nice to see. Very consistent on the upside and not using a whole loss limit. So keep it up.
Yeah, and Jack, that's a really good point that you make with all the costs of trading and live funded account. Those are all passed through as far as the exchange fees are exactly what the CME charges, and they stay the same. So whether it's in your personal account or your TopStep account, you're going to be paying the same fees that you would anywhere else, and they really do add up. The CME does make you pay to access and trade in the live markets, and just keep that in mind while you're trading so that they don't kind of sneak up on you and exceed your per trade or per contract profitability.
Good stuff. So, and as someone said in the chats, stimulants are bad. They'll get you in the long run. Can't agree more. Live that good, clean life. Okay, Brett, with that, who do we have as the next contestant?
Next up is Ben W. Ben is in a 100K XFA, and Ben has really exhibited a lot of avoiding significant intraday drawdowns and just doing a good job of keeping that average winning day up at 690, and 84% winning days, 76% winning trades, and really high selectivity in the trades that they take at just 3 trades per day.
Yeah, absolutely. There's see that, I mean, one thing, this isn't for Ben, but just an aside, I see in the 100K, looks like on one day got a little more slippage than he wanted to because I'm seeing him down, $2,300. Once again, just something to keep an eye on. The auto liquidation, while nice to have and a disaster, is not always your friend. So if you can get out, do get out. But
Yeah,
oh yeah, overall, this is a pretty clean card. Maybe we'd want to see um the average winning day be, because I don't know, 76% is pretty high for winning trades. And if you're taking multiple trades in a day at a 76 winning percentage, you're going to have an absurd winning day ratio, just how the math works out. Um, I don't know how sustainable that can be, but if you have a way to have 84% winning days, you have a lot of leeway with the other stats. So I would think about maybe trying to, if you're going to lose as much as you do, which is, of course, the daily loss limit in this case, um, maybe reserving that. This is something we're working on in the house account right now. Is if you have a certain loss limit, you got to be able to, on a somewhat regular basis, be able to put up as much or more than that. So that would just be something I would work on, but the average daily P&L over 31 days is great. And as we say, 30 days, 30 is that statistical number where things start to be a little bit consistent. But markets change, then keep it up, stay safe. Give us a holler from Lincolnshire or Lincolnshire. Let me know if I mispronounced that.
Yeah, and one other thing with the 1-to-1 reward over risk that Ben is using in this account, the 76% winning trade percentage is really carrying him through this account and adding up significantly, enabling him to take a $2,000 payout out of this express funded account, and just the selectivity in the trading with just 12 contracts per day traded is great, which also obviously keeps their total fees down
I noticed
in
that.
the account.
Out of the 31 trading days, only one day with more than 10 trades. That was, yeah, a 98 contract day. But overall, yeah, keeping the fees low, pretty consistent stuff. Great things from our friend in England. All
Yeah,
right,
and
Brett.
it really wouldn't be a bad idea for Ben to consider sizing up on some of the best trades. But again, this trader also only has two daily loss limit hits, which stands out to anybody really, that they do stop trading before it gets significant.
For sure. And I believe it's Lincolnshire, I am being told in the chat. All right, we got that. We finally got there, Brett. And unless you have anything else on Ben here, I believe we have one more card we can do.
We do have one more card, and that's Carlton. And Carlton was actually featured by risk manager Ben about 2 weeks ago. I think it was the 11th of June. And that was at the time that Carlton was being called up to this live funded account from their XFA. And the cool thing about this trading card is that Carlton hasn't really changed a thing since moving to the live funded account from that XFA. Um, in their XFA, they had an average daily P&L of 378, and now that's changed very little, really. And it's kind of everything that we want to see out of our XFA traders that do get called up to live, that they really don't change a whole lot. Um, Today is the ninth day that Carlton is trading the account, and after 8 full trades, they're still at 100% winning days. And they're doing stuff in the live markets that are just exceedingly difficult. 80% winning trade percentage. Um, Average profit and loss per trade is at about a 3-to-1 with the reward over risk.
Yeah, this is crazy here. Brett, I have a clarification to make. When I'm looking at these trade reports, where it says the column that is P&L low, is that when they are flat or is that calculated like unrealized low?
That is realized, which is why
Okay.
you'll see that the P&L low is positive in this case.
Well, the lowest he was flat in this 9 day stretch was at one point on June 18th. Carlton was flat down $28.56. Has not been flat in these 9 days below that, which is crazy. I mean, he has made between about 200 and $500 over these 9 days. Oh, made 980. I see yesterday, as a matter of fact. Carlton swinging a little bigger. Um, that's awesome. Like I said for the last one, 80% winning trades may be difficult. Certainly, 100% winning days won't last forever. If it does, Carlton, you are our new God King. But definitely the 80% winning trades is tough, especially with the reward, the risk of 3 to 1. These are crazy numbers. If you can keep this up, you should size up because that's really freaking good right there.
Yeah, and you mentioned sizing up, and that's kind of what I attribute yesterday to as being the highest volume day that Carlton has had in the live funded account. But taking it really slow, had 7 days where their biggest day was less than $400. And that is extremely commendable, in my opinion, because it exhibits behavior of great discipline, taking it slow, not losing sight that we're trading for tomorrow, and there's a lot that can happen from day to day, and it is important not to try to move too quickly.
Yeah. I mean, his average, as far as I can tell from this, the most he has lost on a trade in these 9 days is $183 on one trade. Really, I mean,
Yeah.
really, really impressive stuff. Once again, can't necessarily rely on this. I'm seeing he's taking a little payout. But I'm hesitant to say this, but this might be a candidate for sizing up a little bit slowly. Always size up slowly and cut your risk accordingly. But no, this 150K live account, it is so rare to see an account where they're not testing that loss limit. But he really hasn't tested any loss limit yet. So if this is going, I think you start cranking it up a little bit. Don't make me regret saying that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing I would caution any trader that is consistently trading well and having 100% winning days, 80% winning trades over a period of time is don't let one catch you off guard. Keep that guard up and be willing to take losses if or when that occurs, and keep the losses small, which so far Carlton has done a fantastic job of.
Yeah, and this is probably interesting because we have a few minutes here, place to launch off onto that. Is we talk so much about cutting loss limits because 99.99999, however many traders there are out there, the issue is using their loss limit too much or just hitting it too frequently. The rare other side of it is if you are never losing, um, or rarely losing or not losing much, that is when it's probably appropriate to increase your risk. As long as it doesn't change the profile of your winners disproportionately, you know, the best traders out there, they take, as we say, no one's perfect. They take losses and will push things until they do take some losses with some, frequency, unless you're running some sort of arbitrage. But those are largely those aren't really available to people that are trading futures like us. But yeah, if the stats support it, start slowly, build up a little bit. As Hogue says, the biggest change a trader will make is going from one contract to two, because you're essentially doubling your size. But you can do things with micros as well to get a little larger, and just see if your winners scale at the same rate with your losses, and if so, add a little more, add a little more, and yeah, you'll be in great shape. So fantastic card here from Carlton. Brett, we got a few minutes here. Do we want to see if there's a question or two from the chat? Probably could.
Sounds
As a reminder, after this, we got group coaching with JD and Robert. Then KV is coming on for the 1 o'clock hour. And we are closing out the day today with Andre's out. So, what do we got today? Oh, Dakota himself is here with Dolby and Gabe. Gabe is coming out from behind the box to trade some NQs. NQ Boost asks, does it count as a winning trade if you hit break even plus one tick? Yeah, sure. And that's actually why, if you've watched me on the shoulder tap, that's why if they have a large enough sample size, I tend to look at their average daily P&L winners versus average losers because you have to be flat at the end of the day. Those are like immutable facts of trading. There are strategies that will sort of warp your um, average winning trade stat. The biggest one being people that pull their stop losses to just above break even, because then they'll have a bunch of it'll decrease their average winning trade because they'll just have these few dollar winners combined with whatever the winners usually would be. And that's just kind of how the data goes out. Any thoughts on that, Brett?
I mean, the thing that stands out to me on that is just cancel if close is something that's so easy to fall victim of. Kind of as far as moving orders or particularly loss orders, stop loss orders, that when the market does get close, moving them further away from the market a lot of times can kind of sneak up on you and cost significant losses.
Yeah. Real quick before you head out, I see two questions. One is too long for us to answer right now. Please need to know exactly how TopStep works. Check out our website. I think we do a good job of explaining that. But if you have any further questions, let me know. And how do you choose those to call up for a live account? Can you give the 30-second summary, Brett?
Yeah, the quick explanation is it's a discretionary process, and we do look at a lot of data around the accounts. It includes consistency. Are you consistently profitable? Are you trading a bunch of contracts that are adding to the costs, and also history? Do you have a bunch of accounts that you had for just 1 or 2 days that you tried to kind of throw the dice with? We like to see the consistency is kind of really the underlying thing that we're always keeping in mind.
And I'll do a 30-second real quick one too. Someone was asking, how do you recommend taking payouts to pay yourself without depleting your account too much? That will depend on what your winning percentage, like winning day percentage, and what the average winner and loser are. Basically, I would never put myself in a position. If I were in an account, you want to pay yourself, but you want to give yourself definitely enough room that you won't blow it out. For me, that might be, let's say, 10 times your average losing day. Once again, that's all a matter of risk tolerance and things like that. For some people, it might be 20. For some people, it might be 5. For reckless people, it might be like 1 or 2, but try not to put yourself in that spot. Just make sure you have enough to have a cushion with whatever size and strategy you use, and leave enough ammo there for yourself, as would be. All right,
Yeah,
Brett.
and that
Oh, go
That
ahead.
sorry, just really quick, that highlights the point of go slowly. 1 to 2 contracts should be your biggest increase in risk, and go slowly, build it up, and do take payouts.
Okay, there you go. All right, straight from the risk manager's mouth. Stick around because just after this break, we're going to do some group coaching with JD and I messed this up. I got to make sure I say the right one. JD and Robert. JD and Robert will be up next. Then KV. Then we are closing out the day with Dakota. All right, I got it that time, Brett. We'll be back right after this. Stick around. We got a bunch more to come. See you then.